Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sagebrush Happy Hour Journal entry for August 4th, 2025. Having a nice, warm, hot day out here, August day. And so finally got the hot tub up to temperature, and I'll probably actually enjoy that this evening. In other news, I've got kind of some sad news, potentially sad news, I guess would be the best way to put it, is that, I work with the Chili Line Depot restaurant in Tres Piedras, New Mexico. And one of our cooks, his name is Matthew McLaughlin, has disappeared. So it was a week ago last Friday, and so I guess it was Friday last week last few days of July there. He was that was the time he was last seen. He didn't show up to work on that Monday following that weekend, and so. And it's not uncommon with the kind of employees that we have out here, is that people in the food service industry tend to be fairly migratory anyway, and sometimes things happen where they don't show up to work, and so we weren't concerned immediately, and then. We kind of found out that he hadn't been seen for a few days, and he had had a fight with his roommate and was last seen walking toward the highway, and so he didn't have a operable vehicle, and that was the last time he's seen. So I'll post a poster here, and I'll give you a number. You can call the Chili Line Depot restaurant as well, which is area code 575-758-1701 if you know anything about Matt McLaughlin. And this is one of the things about Tres Piedras. Let me explain a little bit about Tres Piedras if you're not familiar with that. So it's a very small village. It's a hamlet. There's only one business that's operable in there, really, and that's the Chili Line Depot. And that's just because it's on the intersection of Highway 285 north and south and U.S. Highway 64 going east and west. And it used to have a couple more. It used to have a gas station, and there was a sawmill and a couple little businesses, but it's down to just basically the Chili Line Depot is really the only business in that town. And surrounding that town is what is called Tres Piedras Estates. And so Tres Piedras Estates was a land development where they bought up a bunch of sections of the kind of the sagebrush desert high country there with no water, no electricity, and subdivided it into quarter-acre lots that they sold for super cheap or gave away. And so what that ends up being is that there's just a bunch of lots out there that have no real road access, and there's no real code enforcement that goes on, and so in that area there's just kind of dirt tracks that go back to pieces of property that may or may not be owned by the occupant there, and there's what I would call substandard housing out there. There's no electricity, or no water, and quarter acre you can't really do sewage on. So these are basically what we used to call huts, sometimes tiny homes, sometimes RVs, sometimes school buses, sometimes travel trailers, sometimes tents, sometimes yurts. Just basically this kind of housing that people can get in for cheap. And so people move out here because they want to be free, and they want to kind of live a more law-free existence. And so there's some other areas like this. There's an area to the south of us that's called Carson Estates, and it's also known as Two Peaks. And that's the same kind of area and development. And then there's Slab City out in California. And so these areas are kind of, they're tough to live in, and they're basically fairly lawless. The police don't go out there unless there's an actual body. And so so there's kind of it's a law unto itself. And so people do disappear. And so this is a case of we're hoping that we can, that he's maybe was picked up by a hitchhiker, and he was picked up at hitchhiking and is someplace else, or that we hope that he's maybe someplace safe. And of course, we couldn't make a missing persons report to the police, or the police wouldn't accept that, or the sheriff's office, unless it was a family member. And so we finally notified his mother and sister, and they've come out here to Tres Piedras, and they filed a missing persons report. And so we've been posting on social media and still haven't heard anything. His phone is not, of course, not pinging and not answering his phone, and he didn't have a vehicle. So so this is kind of a case of this area being really, really a tough existence. And sometimes things happen, and we were hoping that maybe he just decided that he wanted to go for a trip and get on the road or something. But you never know what actually happens. So I'm hoping for the best, and and we hope that we can find Matt again. And so again, take a look at the poster that I've posted up here, and call one of these numbers if you've run into Matt. And again, we hope for the best. So here's to you, Matt. Cheers.